mercy and we Biafra, Lord, give us a freedom.
My wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom, I welcome you to Skolante TV, where we bring to you news that concerns the restoration of Biafra and freedom all over the world. In this video, I will be bringing to you Mazi Simon Ekpa tweeted the news that came from Sahara reporters that our Onyendu supreme leader said that he still stands in restoration of Biafra through self-referendum and nothing changes it. But before we dive into it in details, let me quickly welcome back to my channel those of you that have been following my videos, and if you are new, I urge you to do well to click that like button, subscribe to my channel, press that bell icon so anytime I drop a video you will be well notified, and also share it across the board. Okay, we start with the Sahara reporters. They are now quoting Nnamdi Kanu, and they said, despite my unjust detention, Mazi Supreme Leader said, demand for Biafran referendum remains my goal. So this is what the Sahara reporters posted, and our PM now said, breaking, you get the point. So it means that at least this headline shows exactly who we know our supreme leader is. This is exactly what we know that he will say. So any other thing, we know that he's not the one saying it. So let us now go and read in details. The IPOB leader, who said this during a visit by his younger brother, Prince Kanu, popularly known as Kanunta. I think these people made a mistake here. Kanu is not Kanunta. Insisted that despite his unjust and unfair incarceration, the demand for a referendum remains his goal, unless those opposing the wholesome restructuring of the country repent. This last statement, I don't believe that our supreme leader said that. Our supreme leader always says that Biafra or death. That is what he says. So anybody putting this one is mixture to what our supreme leader must have said. But I will just read it so you guys will see. I believe that this is concocted story from MNK Kanu and his brother Kanunta. They concocted all this nonsense. But let me read it in details so you guys will hear. But that headline is exactly what our Onyendu must have said. Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has said that he is not against any genuine restructuring of Nigeria in line with the provision of the 1963 Constitution. Our leader said this thing back since 2010, 2009, and not anymore. He never will say this kind of a thing. Let's just continue. The IPOB leader, who said this during a visit by his younger brother, Prince Kanu, popularly known as Kanu, which is not true, insisted that despite his unjust and unfair incarceration, the demand for a referendum remained his goal, unless those opposing the wholesome restructuring of the country repent. He never said this. Of course, we know that. Emmanuel spoke to newsmen after meeting with the IPOB leader in detention at Abuja headquarters of the Department of State Service, where he has been held since June 2021, when he was not arrested but kidnapped and forcefully returned to Nigeria. According to Vanguard, the younger brother to Kanu quoted the IPOB leader as saying, "We are not averse to the genuine restructuring of the country. We know that the country cannot grow or make progress under the current unworking unitary structure. The facts are clear for all to see. And I believe that our Onyendu never said this. That is the quotation. Even Sahara reporters did not quote it the way Vanguard put it. They put it the way they know that Nnamdi Kanu will say it. So, but they just quoted what they saw. The Vanguard actually wrote. Our position remains the same as our submission in the presence of Professor Ben Mabueze and Evangelist Elliot Ugochukwu Uko on 30th August 2017 at the meeting with the Southeast governors in Enugu. We have no reason to add or subtract from our position 6 years ago. So what has been our position? Is it not Biafra? We reiterate that we are not opposed to a consensual but wholesome restructuring of the country along the 1963 Constitution. Kanunta is the one writing this one. According to the IPOB leader, those who disrupted an earlier attempt by the Nigerian government in 2017 to reach a truce with him are responsible for the current insecurity in the Southeast. He said that those who disrupted the 2017 peace process only engineered and activated the unpleasant experiences of the past 3 years. Had they allowed the second meeting of September 15th, 2017 to hold, meaningful outcome would have been long achieved. The unprovoked invasion of my family homestead of September 14th, 2017, which led to the untimely death of dozens of citizens and inspired the demise of my parents, created the uncivil atmosphere that engulfed the region moving forward. Kanu, who reportedly gave conditions for true reconciliation, instead that the grossly marginalized southeast region of Nigeria and the entire Biafra land should be rebuilt and brought to equity with other regions of the country. This is not from our Onyendu. Kanu, who specifically demanded the establishment of long-denied critical infrastructure in our region, commercial seaports, international airports with cargo wing, rail services, and other deliberately denied infrastructure. Kanu is just mixing the whole thing together. And MNK, all of them are inside the game. They are using their brother to make money. He noted that the growing agitation for the restoration of Biafra was born out of the deep-seated injustice against Biafrans by the Nigerian state. According to him, those determined on riding fellow citizens as donkeys should understand that their refusal to treat every region fairly is at the root of our agitation for justice and equity. The people of the region desire to be treated fairly and treated right. We stand by our demand for justice, equity, and fairness for all. This is our position, he added. My position has remained unchanged for very many years, regardless of my unjust and unfair incarceration. Our demand for a referendum to determine whether our people will choose to remain in the country that has so unkindly treated us for decades remains our goal. Unless those opposing the wholesome restructuring of the country repent. Kanu added this one as well. We are resolute because the oppressor leaves us no choice. Since the 1980s and 1990s, every plea to return the country to the 1963 Constitution has sadly fallen on deaf ears, leaving us no choice than to find any avenue that would guarantee a safe future and better tomorrow for our unborn grandchildren. We have no regrets whatsoever articulating a better future for our progeny, being mocked consistently over our earlier demand for an early return to true federalism and devolution of powers. We saw we had no other choice than to work towards a referendum to determine our future. Our decision and preference for our own country where our children will be fairly treated is as a result of the unacceptable, unabated mistreatment since 1966. First, the horrendous pogrom, then the bitter war, the deliberate disempowerment after the war, the 20 pounds offer, the scorched earth policy and war of attrition viciously visited on our region ever since. The deliberate denial of critical federal government-driven basic infrastructure such as a functional commercial seaport, railway, international airport with cargo wing, dry ports, container terminal, greater electricity generation, export-free zone and east-west railway and road network that will help our people feel like being truly part of the country, confirms our second-class status, which we reject. The unkind marginalization we have suffered as a region since 1970 is only possible because of the centralized structure enabled by the unitary 1999 Constitution. We remain committed to our demand for a referendum as long as those totally opposed to the restructuring of the country along the lines of true federalism and power devolution continue to resist the cry for a new, fair, just and equitable constitution along the line of 1963 Republican Constitution. We will be betraying our people and selling away their future if we continue to wobble along in this unhelpful 1999 Unitary Constitution, designed and written and given by unelected soldiers. I led marches in the UK pleading for a consensual restructuring of the country via a constitutional conference and the enthronement of a new people's constitution all through the 1990s. We were mocked and ridiculed consistently by a small clique of compatriots who claimed they were born to rule. their stiff opposition to a peaceful restructuring of the country made our agitation inevitable. They are simply telling us to go to hell and do our worst. At the meeting with the Southeast governors on 30th August 2017, I pleaded with the governors to plead with Mr. President to begin the early restructuring of the country along the lines of true federalism and devolution of power back to the 1963 Constitution. I also pleaded for affirmative action to expedite immediate construction of the earlier mentioned deliberately denied infrastructure in our region. The response was a vicious military attack to violently eliminate me on the 14th of September 2017, a day before the follow-up concluding meeting. So my people, this is what our Onyendu, according to MNK Kanu, that our Onyendu actually said this thing. But why I actually brought this thing and read it is because it shows that Onyendu knows that Simon Ekpa and some genuine Biafrans are still on the course, and he told them to say these things, that for us to know that he still stands on what he still believes, what we are looking for. I believe that he told them to let us know that he is strong and that we should not back down, that Biafra is what we want and nothing can change it. Because in between the lines that I'm reading, you will hear where he says that he is still standing on what he believes 6 years ago. Okay? And that 6 years ago, he's saying is not 6 years ago from this year. No, this is before they even arrested him. Okay? Because that's what I understand with this whole write-up. So I believe that Onyendu is still standing on what he believes. And probably he wanted this guy to bring this thing out for us to know that he's still strong with us. But this guy came out and twisted the whole thing, that he is still open to restructuring. If Onyendu wants restructuring, they would have released him, because they will promise him no problem, we will do it, and release him. So what's that? He doesn't want restructure anything, nothing. What are you restructuring? Can you restructure something that does not have foundation? Can you restructure something that is already gone, dead, like Dodo? The only thing that we learned from the barrister Ozekome, and he couldn't bring out our Onyendu. So we just take the ones that we know that our Onyendu said, and we throw away all the nonsense that Meme and the brother concocted. So that is just what I just wanted to bring, because that news came out yesterday and I saw the one on the Vanguard. The headline is different. The headline suggests that Onyendu is now clamoring for restructuring, while I saw the Sahara Reporter, they posted their own, which our PM posted on his page, and that one is the one that you saw me read, and that one says that he still stands with our referendum. Okay, so you see that there is a conflict of information. Sahara Reporters know that Onyendu never said that nonsense that the Vanguard wrote. The brothers must have actually added all those nonsense the same way Barrister Jimako was forcefully given something to read and say that his signature from Onion, all those nonsense. We've passed all those levels. So my people, referendum is coming on the 1st. Be getting yourself prepared. If you don't have a picture, the latest picture, take a picture or a passport. If you take a picture, cut it to the size of passport. Okay, don't laugh. You know, as you're taking passport, that's the kind of picture you take, or you take passports, so that on that 1st, many of us will be able to start registering. And the faster we do it, the faster Biafra will come. On this note, I will be drawing my curtain. If you have not subscribed to my channel, do well to like, subscribe, press that bell icon, so anytime I drop a video, you will be notified. And share the video as well, so that others will get to hear and know what is going on. And I say shalom.